After delivery of the inverter, take a picture of the type label as you might need serial number and other information for future purposes. Open the cardboard box and take out the wall mounting plate. Use the plate as a template to drill the holes for a minimum of 3 fixing screws. Make sure the open side of the mounting plate faces the wall. Only install the wall mounting plate on non-flammable surfaces and be sure to use appropriate screws. Lift the inverter out of the packaging and hang it onto the wall mounting plate. Make sure it is correctly fitted on the top as well as the suspension rail in the middle of the plate. Secure the inverter from slipping out by inserting the 3 supplied securing screws. Take the DC combiner box out of the packaging, remove the lid, and fix it to the wall with appropriate screws in each corner of the housing. Take out the accessory pack from the inverter packaging. It contains 2 hooks for installation of the inverter with a crane, stickers, as well as connection housings for the AC and DC terminals with cable glands for humidity protection. Now start with the cabling connections. Insert the DC cable into the connection housing and slide the hexagonal nut onto the cable. Open the DC connection with a screwdriver. Fit in the crimped minus cable and close the connector. Repeat this with the plus cable. Fit the insulation on the connection housing and fix it to the inverter with the nuts provided. Now, connect the DC cables from the inverter to the DC combiner box. Slip them through the larger glands and connect them on the connector. Make sure to connect minus to minus and plus to plus. A color marking on the cables will be helpful. Next, prepare the AC cabling by slipping the connection housing over the cable. Open the terminal point with a screwdriver, clamp the 5 phases in, and lever the cover downwards to complete cable connection. Lift the connection housing onto the inverter, fitting it onto the 4 PEM studs and fix it with nuts. Prepare the DC cables from the strings for connection to the DC combiner box. Slip them through the ceilings and glands at the bottom. Fasten the ground wire with appropriate dimension on the combiner box and connect it for potential equalization. Connect all DC string cables in the combiner box before inserting the fuses. Beware of plus and minus cables. After connecting, measure the voltage and polarity. If the polarity and voltage are equal for all strings, insert the fuses and close the cases. DC cabling is now ready. Close the cover of the combiner box. Now, connect the external ground wire from a grounded equalization bar to the inverter. If required, all communication cables can now be connected. Start with RS485 and connect it to the RS485 in and RS485 out connection on the inverter connection panel. Connect the Ethernet cable. If you wish, you can use a temperature and a radiation sensor and connect it to the inverter too. Finally, tighten all hexagonal nuts of the housings and make sure all connections have been made correctly. Now switch the DC circuit breaker of the inverter to the on position. After the initialization, choose the correct country code. The language is automatically selected, but can be changed if necessary. Set the date and time and confirm with OK. After the self-test is completed, the inverter begins to feed the solar power into the public grid.